Hi everybody, DM Kevin here. I'm bringing you a special edition of Kevin's Corner. This is the first one that we'll be posting on Divination Gaming channel that we have just switched over from the Dungeon Crawl Gaming. I'd like to welcome everybody here who is watching the video today. And if you have any comments or questions, please make sure you post them so that way I can get good feedback off my videos. And I want to give you the content you want. Today we're doing something a little bit different for Kevin's Corner. What I'm going to be doing is I'm a member of a few groups online, and there are questions that have come up, and one of the questions that I keep seeing over and over is ready action. How does ready action work? What triggers ready action? How do I let my characters use the ready action? Well, the ready action is very important because it gives the players an option of either taking their turn now or when a trigger happens. Now, Shane had brought up a question over on my DMs only, and I don't think Shane will mind if I bring this up in Kevin's Corner. But it says, I'm having a debate with one of my players. Maybe someone can help debunk it. He wants to ready action by having him prepare and attack, but one of his teammates was in the way. So he just readied himself, then passed to the next player. The player then moved out of the way, and the PC who readied then tried attacking even though he passed. This makes sense, or am I reading something wrong? Well, Shane, you have the general gist of it correct. However, the player handbook basically states, and I'm reading this right out of the player's handbook PDF online. Sometimes you want to get the jump on a foe or wait for a particular circumstance before you act. To do so, you can take a ready action on your turn, which lets you act using your reaction before the start of your next turn. So it has to be done before the start of the PC's next turn. First, you want to decide what perceivable circumstance will trigger the action. So Shane, in this example that you're talking about here, your PC could say, when my fellow player teammate moves out of the way, I will fire. That's going to be the trigger. When he moves out of the way. When my teammate is clear, when my teammate moves, I am going to immediately fire. That's the trigger. Okay? Or you choose to move up the speed in response to it. When the trigger occurs, you can either take your action as a reaction right after the trigger finishes, or ignore the trigger. Remember, you can only take one reaction per round. Now then, what this is saying is that as a reaction, you get one reaction per round, of course. As a reaction, what you can do is, my trigger is when the player moves out of the way. That's the trigger. I will fire at the bad guy. That's the action. Now, when he passed earlier, what he did was he didn't actually pass on what he was going to do. He readied it. And when you ready action, that means that as soon as you are able to, you are going to do that action. Now then, they have the option at that point of not going through with the action they readied. For example, when my teammate moves out, I'm a ready action. When my teammate moves out of the way, I am going to fire my crossbow at the bad guy. Well, swing, swing. The guy goes down. There's no reason to take it now, correct? So when the teammate moves out of the way, the ready action goes off. I don't fire. And it's over. There's always the option for the PC to either take the action or not take the action as a reaction. Now then, just remember they only get one reaction per round. So they can only do this once. So he can't say, I ready action for all my players to move out of the way and I take as many shots as I can. No, that's not how it works. You're allowed to take one reaction, and then it's over. So ready action goes off once, and it's done. All right. Well, I hope that answered that question, Shane. Daniel had a question on here. Getting ready to DM for the first time in my own campaign in 5e. Any advice? I have posted this answer I don't know how many times online, and it quite a few times. And I will keep saying it over and over again. Have fun. Remember, the DMGM motto is, it's not if the players win or lose, it's if they talk about it afterwards. And I believe in that wholeheartedly. So Daniel, when you sit down and you're DMing and you are making this memory with the rest of your players, you want to have fun. You definitely want to follow the rules. You want to make sure everybody else is following the rules. You want to make sure that everything is going as smoothly as possible. You don't want people metagaming, that's for sure. If their character doesn't know it, they don't know it, and you need to put your foot down, or else your players will run all over you on that one. So metagaming is basically like if one player knows that something's going on, that doesn't mean that everybody knows, unless they tell them. Prompt them. Are you going to tell the rest of your party this information? See what happens. But I know when I first started, I had goosebumps, yes. But I had butterflies the night before. I had butterflies leading up to it, and I had butterflies when I first started. I ran the Lost Mines of Phandelver some 3 years ago now with my original party that I'm playing with now, and we still talk about it 3 years later. That is phenomenal. That's awesome for me as a DM and as a GM, because honestly, there were parts in that campaign that I thought for sure everybody was going to get mad at me for, maybe not talk to me anymore. Like literally, just like I thought I was going to be disowned by the group on a few of the things that had happened. It didn't. As a matter of fact, I'm still their DM 3 years later. Have we gone through some adversity and some changes? Absolutely. But I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't change anything for the world. You want to have fun, make memories. Just remember, they're looking for the big epics. They're looking for the epic fight. They're looking for the epic death. If a character is going to die, make it epic. Honestly, it's like, especially if it's your first player death, if it's your first player death that you've ever had, and don't feel bad. Don't. It's a game. It's not for real. You're not killing a real person. You are playing a game that death is definitely an outcome that could happen. So, what you need to realize is that it's okay if a character dies. When I was running Lost Mines of Phandelver, we had Ketchup, a paladin. Everybody loved Ketchup. He was a little bit off his rocker, but everybody loved Ketchup. Yes, and his name was Ketchup. And my group will vouch for that. Ketchup was a treat. He knew half his spells half the time, and the other half he wasn't quite sure what class he was. And it was great and hilarious. But when they went to the old owl well, the necromancer killed him. And I can still remember to the day that was the first player kill that I had gone through with this group. The room was in silence. they couldn't believe what just had happened. It was an epic battle. They were fighting skeletons and the Necromancer. The Necromancer was throwing some big, heavy spells that they were having to keep their distance from him. They couldn't get to the Necromancer. Ketchup made it to the Necromancer, but nobody else could. And so when Ketchup went down, there was nobody there to save him, and he failed his saving throws, and he died. I feel sad for him, I really and truly do, because I don't want players to die. But death will happen in your campaign. Now, you can decide how much death, or if any death. You decide, you're the DM, you make the decision. However, death happens, and you have an option as a GM, DM at that point of saying, okay, I'll tell you what, that player died, or that character died, but I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to let you come back as a different character. You have that option as well. And unfortunately, with the way we were running it, Ketchup, there was no way to fit another character in, so he just waited until the next set. He waited until the next campaign, which was a few months down the road. But if you make death one of those things that if your character dies, you have to wait until the next campaign. They aren't going to want to die. If you leave it open like I did in my last campaign that I was running and still kind of am running, to where I told them, it's like, oh yes, if you die, it's over. Yeah, well, they tested the waters, and I allowed one player to come back. I gave them a resurrection spell, so they resurrected. So now it's like death doesn't scare them anymore. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing. For them and for me. Just remember, you want to have fun. I know I went really dark on that all of a sudden. But just remember, you want to have fun. Honestly, you just want to get everybody together once a week. You want to roll some dice. You want to tell a good story. And I'll tell you, the best way to do that is to have fun. Really and truly is. All right. Well, Daniel, I hope that answered your question on that one right there. Have fun, dude. Seriously, have fun. If you have questions about individual things, post them online. There are about, 1 million people who play D&D right now. And guess what? 999,000 of them will respond to your posts to answer questions. Trust me. All right, let's see if I can come up with another one here. Okay, here's an interesting. This one's brought up by Rob. Can a cleric cast Sanctuary on a rope bridge if an orc is attempting to cut it down? We're going to pull up Sanctuary real quick. Sanctuary! Okay, so here's the way Sanctuary reads, okay? Sanctuary is casting time of 1 bonus action, range 30 feet. You ward a creature within a range... Okay, so they kind of answered the question right there, I guess. You ward a creature within range against attack. It doesn't say object. It doesn't say house or dwelling or anything like that. So Sanctuary cannot be used on a inanimate object. So you can't cast Sanctuary on a chair. You can't cast Sanctuary on that. It has to be you ward a creature. Okay? So, and that's what I wanted to check on before I just jumped right into this one, is the fact that, yes, now then, the whole thing about Sanctuary, I've been playing a cleric in a side campaign now for the better part of a few months, and I cast Sanctuary almost every session. Every session I'm casting Sanctuary on a player or on a character of somebody or for something. Sanctuary is a great spell, mainly because they have to do a save in order to attack. So basically what they have to do is they have to do a wisdom saving throw in order to attack that creature. So therefore, that makes it really nice because a lot of times, Wiz, yeah, I mean, especially like, let's just say for a barbarian, wisdom is not that high on the barbarian spell or barbarian checklist. So that's really nice. Um, but no, Rob, the answer would be you cannot cast Sanctuary on the rope bridge itself. You could cast it on yourself and then run across the bridge. But I think you're trying to stop the bridge from being cut down. That's called Ranger. I cast Ranger and have my Ranger fill him full of arrows. That's what I would do. All right, so we're going to go ahead. We got enough time for about one more question on here. And as soon as there were a couple good ones, but they were from a couple weeks ago, and trying to find them again is like pulling hair. But hey, just to let everybody know, we did rebrand Dungeon Crawl Gaming. Dungeon Crawl Gaming will still be doing the same things. The only difference is that Dungeon Crawl Gaming is now called Divination Gaming. We will be doing a lot more variety type. So we'll be doing Dungeons and Dragons. We'll be doing Magic. We'll be doing X-Wing. We'll be doing Star Trek Encounters. We'll be doing Star Wars Rebellion, Star Wars Legion. We'll be doing a lot more gaming across the board. And so keep that in mind. We will be following some Magic players around as they play in different events. And we'll be not stalking, but following. And we will basically be interviewing them at the end of their sessions or at their end of the rounds. See how they felt. You know, we'll be doing that with different Magic players too, not just one or two. Let's see. Here's a good one. All right, so Christopher asks, so in my world, the goblins have come together and they have been digging their warrens, but they found something buried under the earth. What could they find? I'm at a loss. To be honest, the group is about to reach the goblin warrens. Well, I don't know what's in your campaign, so you know what? We might actually go ahead and skip that one, Christopher. If you want to... Yeah, so some of the responses online can be mean, and some of them can be dead on. All right, let's see. Yeah, like I said, I gotta go through and find the good stuff for y'all, because I don't want to just throw something out here that is meaningless. That's why it's like that last one. It looked cool at first, but let's see. Here we go. All right, here we go. So Patrick, this is a great question. This is awesome, actually. So as DMs, if anything, have you ever done something that someone outside the group or new to the table gave no thought to, but the other players who have played in a previous campaign go, oh crap. Mine is bringing out at time red folder of doom that contains my 3 custom BCs that no party has ever survived. 1 for land with burrowing, 1 for sky, and 1 for water. Absolutely, I have my death dice. My death dice, it's kind of funny because whenever I bring my death dice out, everybody kind of pauses like, oh, what's going on tonight? Why is he bringing those out? And the reason they're called death dice is because they're solid black die in a black box. So everybody calls them my death die. And that was the die that actually did the killing blow for Ketchup in Lost Mines of Phandelver, so it was deemed as the death die. Whenever I bring out the death die, everybody's kind of talking amongst themselves, like, what's going on tonight? Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Absolutely, I would have those things. Now, one of the things I do is I have what's called the Shadowless one. It is a Tabaxi Rogue Panther that basically has been chasing my players around for 3 different campaigns. Or 2, sorry. 2 different campaigns now. This Tabaxi Rogue Assassin is just... when I built this thing, I built it to survive, and I built it to kill people, and it kills people. When it wants to, it will. But yeah, absolutely. And that makes it fun as a DM too. If you can have something, Patrick, that you pull out that everybody's like, why is he bringing that out tonight? What are we doing? What's going on? The red folder with your big baddies in them, my death dice. If you have a certain little medallion or something that you wear around your neck, that whenever you pull the medallion out and you're showing the medallion. Some DMs like to dress up for epic battles. Wear a cloak to session one night, and as you walk in, have that epic battle. Guess what? That cloak will represent the epic battle from that point forward. And whenever you wear that, they're gonna be like, "Oh crap, we're in for something big tonight." Do something like that as well. A little cloak, medallion around your neck, crown on your head, I guess, if you really want to be, that way about it. But Patrick, absolutely, man. It's like, I like to have fun. I don't know if anybody has seen the videos we posted about in Definition Gaming now. We did a complete wedding ceremony to where I had cake on the table, plates on the table. They role played the wedding. They actually got to sit down and eat cake and discuss and talk. At one point during the campaign, they actually sold their souls to Merkel. And when they sold their souls to Merkel, they all sat on the table. I dimmed the lights down. They had envelopes in front of them. They opened the envelopes. They had a contract. As a matter of fact, I have kind of the contract right here. It's called the Soul Contract. It's really cool. But yeah, it's like if you have those things that if the players walk in and the room's dim and you have these, I use, now these are battery operated, right? These little tea lights. If you want to set the mood in a room, turn off all the lights inside the room you're playing in, have about 4 or 5 of these set up on the table, and you as a DM stand at the doorway saying, "Welcome. As you please come in to my place of business, would you please be very quiet for those around you eating, please. So, no talking. Once you go into a room, please, no talking. Please sit down, have a seat. Somebody will be with you shortly." It'll set a mood. It'll set a tone. So these things are pretty cool too. But absolutely, those are the different things you can do to kind of, get everything, flowing. Get the juices flowing before the session even starts. They're like, "Oh, wow, what's going on today?" Exactly. All right, everybody. Well, a couple of announcements real quick. Number one, we will be having a summer camp, a D&D summer camp, probably coming up in later on in July. Probably the third week in July, second or third week in July, after the 4th of July, but before the end of July. We will be having a D&D camp. Now, this camp is designed for children. This is going to be designed for kids ages 7 to 15 who have never played D&D before, or maybe have played a couple times but want to get more information about how to play. We'll be posting a video on here very soon about where it's going to be, how much it's going to be. It's going to be a lot of fun. The kids are going to get their own dice. The kids are going to get their own character figure, their own figure to take home with them. They'll be playing on Lego maps. We're going to make it fun. That's the first thing. The second thing is I'm sure many of you have noticed that we are no longer Dungeon Crawl Gaming. We have switched over to Divination Gaming. We'll be under the umbrella of Divination Gaming Productions, but we are doing our gaming as Divination Gaming. We will, like I said earlier, we will be doing a lot of different things, interviewing Magic players, interviewing other D&D players. We will be, as we go to cons, we will be posting interviews that we do at cons with cosplayers, with just a lot of different stuff going on that I kind of want to leave it a surprise because I don't want to kind of let everything out of the bag just about what we have going on. But I think everyone's going to really enjoy it and really have fun. I know we haven't posted anything in a while campaign-wise. It looks like we won't be posting any videos as the Storm King's Thunder finishes up. We're about 3 or 4 weeks out, but with production problems we've had and some technical issues, quality is just not really there. So I think we're just gonna, when it's all over, I think I'm gonna do a sit down with the group, and I'm gonna have everybody just kind of give their feedback and kind of give, you know, what they'll give the wrap up. I'll put it that way. But hey, everybody, just want to thank you so much for tuning in. I know this was kind of a long video for me, but you know, I'm going to do some different things now. So hey, just remember, if you can't run through the dungeon, look for the divine light. Bye, everybody.